Hey everyone, Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and in this video we're taking a look at the MBRP Armor Light single side exit exhaust system with the polished tip, fitting 2024 and newer Tacomas without the factory leaf springs. This system is for the new gen Tacoma owner who wants good sound and tolerable volume for a great price. This is a full catback that's really going to wake up your truck, but it's not going to cost you a bundle. On our loudness meter, this one will come in at a very reasonable 3 out of 5. So if you're looking for outright loudness, this is not going to be your system. However, it is a noticeable improvement in both volume and tone versus stock, but it's not going to get you angry letters from your homeowners association. Now, I make no secret of the fact that I like MBRP's exhaust, and that's because they offer you some of the best sound for your money, and this one is no exception. Like I mentioned, this is a full catback system, so it's going to replace your large factory mufflers and resonators, leaving you with just this one canister muffler and the small resonator at the back. This is also MBRP's street profile, so it is the quieter option within their lineup, but you still get quite a bit more sound and tone out of this one, which, if we're being honest, is really not that hard to do, considering these Tacomas don't really have any exhaust sound from the factory. So this is definitely going to be a noticeable improvement over the stock one. It's deeper and you get to hear a lot more grumble out of the pipe than you do in stock form. And I think it gives these trucks a much needed injection of attitude, as you heard in the clips from the start of our video. Still, not gonna blow out your eardrums, so it's a great fit for a daily driven truck. Now, as I always say, more noise outside of course leads to more noise inside of the cabin, but again, this system really isn't all that obtrusive. You can take your truck on a long road trip with this installed, you can daily drive it, and it's not gonna grate your nerves like some other options might. And since this is a full 3-inch exhaust, it is larger than stock, and that's going to help increase airflow while also reducing back pressure, both of which are especially important in turbocharged trucks like the Tacoma. There are less restrictions in the system here, so exhaust gases can flow better, which can help your truck make some additional power and torque, as well as improve throttle response. Now, when it comes to the tip, this system does exit in the same location as your stock exhaust, just behind the driver's side rear wheel. However, you do get this really nice polished /cut 5-inch tip to set it all off. This thing is pretty huge versus the plain stock tip or lack of tip as it were, and it makes a nice visual improvement to the truck. Nothing too wild, but again, a noticeable improvement in keeping with the overall theme of this system. The tip here is made from T304 stainless steel, and it's a /cut dual wall design. The rest of the system is made using mandrel bent 3-inch aluminized steel. This material is best suited to a vehicle that lives in a dry climate. So if you live in the desert or your truck just doesn't see a lot of snow, rain, or salt, this is going to serve you quite well. And it's also a value proposition because it's going to save you a considerable amount of money versus a T409 or T304 stainless setup. And you still get all the build quality that you're used to with MBRP. All their stuff is pretty nice, the welds look good, and everything just looks like it's going to flow very well. Again, this is all mandrel bent, so it's a pretty solid setup overall. Pricing accordingly is perhaps the best part though, as this setup is only going to run you about $650. And that is truly an excellent price for what you're getting because it's the most affordable catback on the market for these trucks. It's a really killer price for a killer sound, and it further substantiates my claim that MBRP gives you the best sound for your dollar. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 2 hours to complete. This is of course a bolt-on job, and it doesn't require you to make any modifications to the truck itself. So it's going to utilize all your factory exhaust hanger locations and will just bolt right up. Now, exhaust can be a little bit finicky just because space under your vehicle is tight if you're not working on a lift, but fear not, this is definitely a job that you can tackle at home, and we're going to walk you through the process right now. So for that, let's head out to the shop.
For this install, you need a 3/8 impact, 3/8 extension, a 15 and 14 millimeter socket, exhaust hanger tool, grinding tool, tape measure, marker, an 8 millimeter Allen wrench, and also not shown be a cutting tool.
All right, today we're gonna be installing an exhaust on our Tacoma, so let's get started. All right, so we're gonna start taking our factory exhaust off by working at the back and working our way forward. So we have our first flange here that's right in front of our rear axle. We're gonna grab our impact and 14 millimeter socket and take these 2 nuts off. All right, now that those are off, this will allow us to remove our tailpipe. So we just have a couple hangers to hold our tailpipe section on. So we're gonna grab our exhaust hanger tool and pop our first one off here at the flange. All right, and we just have our hanger in the rear here. Just support your exhaust. And then you can pull the tail section out. Next, we're gonna come up to our next flange. So this is in front of our main muffler. We have 2 spring bolts here. Same thing, impact and 14mm socket. Take those 2 out. Now that those are out, we have 3 hangers on our muffler that we'll take off. All right, so we have our 1 hanger in the rear, and then we have 2 in the front of the muffler. So we're gonna use our hanger tool and pop them off. Just make sure you are supporting the exhaust because it will fall. All right, and we just take our 2 in the front off. Set this aside. All right, so now we have our last 2 spring bolts on our front flange. Same thing, we're just gonna put an extension on our 14mm socket to get those out. And then this is just held on 2 hangers, 1 here, 1 here. Pop those off. Pull front pipe out of the way. All right, now that we have our stock exhaust off, we need to start installing our new exhaust. To do that, we just need to do a little bit of modification. So since our truck has a 5-foot bed, we need to cut our mid pipe. Now our mid pipe is the S-curve pipe right after our front flange pipe. So we're gonna cut 13.2 inches off of the back end of the pipe here. Just grab a tape measure, measure that out, grab a marker and mark it. You can see I already did that, marked it all the way around. Now we're gonna go to our saw and get that cut off. All right, now that you have that all cut, what you're gonna do is clean up the edges of the metal here. I have a grinder with a sanding disc on it that just went around the outside and inside edge just to clean up any sharp edges. Now that you have that done, we can go ahead and start installing our exhaust. All right, so we're gonna start with our front flange pipe. So you're just gonna feed it up over our cross member here. Get that up around our flange, and we have our 2 hangers, 1 in the front here, and then 1 on the back if you need to. This is very easy, just pop off, slide onto our exhaust and back onto our hanger. We can just get our 2 factory spring bolts and just loosely thread them in for right now. Next we can install our mid pipe. All right, so we're gonna grab one of our clamps. They are all the same size. They are all 3 inches. I'm gonna slide that over our mid pipe first, and then onto our front flange pipe. Just like that. So here where we have our double hangers, we have our new hanger for our exhaust. This is also a clamp holder. So you're gonna squeeze one of our clamps together. So make sure you just catch the nut. It's just gonna slide into that groove like that. Sit like so. And then that will go into these 2 isolators here. If you need to, you can put it over our mid pipe first and then into your isolators. Once you have that on, we can install our muffler. Now we're gonna get our muffler in. Now the end of our muffler will slide into this clamp here. It's just a little awkward, but just take your time and carefully slide it over. All right, once you get that set in there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start tightening the front half of our exhaust down, and we can get the rest installed. Okay, we're gonna grab our impact, extension, and 14mm socket. We're gonna tighten down our 2 spring bolts. Now you wanna go back and forth and tighten them down evenly so it doesn't pull to one side. You can go ahead and do that now. So now we have our 2 clamps, one here and the one with our hanger. They are both 15mm, so we're gonna grab our impact and 15mm socket, tighten them down.
Next piece in our exhaust is our over the axle pipe. So we're going to feed this up and over. And we have 2 hangers, one here, one here. So you can see we already have our clamp over the back of our muffler. So we're going to slide that in and get on our hangers. Once again, if you need to, just to make it easier, just pop it off the factory hanger, put it on your new exhaust, and then pop it right back on. Lastly, we just have our tail section here, so we're gonna put it up in our hanger right here and our exhaust. All right, now we can go back and tighten our 2 clamps and then put our tip on. Grab your impact and 15mm socket and tighten your clamp down after the muffler. And then we just have our last clamp at our last muffler section. Last thing we need to do is put our tip on. You'll see an 8mm Allen bolt on the side. Just get that adjusted to where you want. Then grab an 8mm Allen wrench and tighten that down. And that wraps up our install of our MBRP Armor Light single exhaust system with polished tip for a side exit on our 2024 and newer Tacoma without leaf springs. And remember, for everything Tacoma, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.